Labour Party lawyer Levi Uzoku shares judgment of Malawi court in 2020 that nullified presidential election. So that means that it is not impossible. Okay, even though it has not happened in Nigeria before, that doesn't mean it cannot happen. So if the judiciary is supposed to do a needful, they should be able to nullify this election if it is so be, because of credibility issues with the election and with the people that conducted the election. So let's see what Levi Uzoku has to say. Senior advocate of Nigeria, Levi Uzoku, has shared the judgment made by the Malawian Supreme Court that affirms the High Court decision to nullify the country's presidential election in 2020. He posted this information on his official Twitter page. This update from Levi Uzoku comes at a time when many Nigerians are anticipating the final judgment from the Presidential Election Petition Court in Nigeria. Recall that Levi Uzoku and his team are representing the Labour Party presidential aspirant Peter Gregory Obi in this legal matter, and they recently adopted their final written address in court. In the statement shared by the Malawian Supreme Court, it appears that the court emphasizes the need to protect both the sanctity of an election and the interests of society. The decision seems to resolve around balancing these factors, which is crucial in maintaining the integrity of the electoral process. This development highlights the ongoing legal proceedings and discussions surrounding election-related matters in various countries, including Nigeria and Malawi. Wow. So this is what Levi Uzoku said on his Twitter page. While aiming at protecting the sanctity of an election, it might become compelling that society be protected from what might be a semblance of an election. Malawian Supreme Court affirming the High Court's judgment that nullified Malawian presidential election in 2020. So, meaning that this has happened in Africa before, even though it has not happened in Nigeria. Okay, so if judiciary is to do the needful, they should borrow leave from what has happened in Malawi. The truth remains that judiciary is supposed to be the last hope of the common man. They are supposed to uphold integrity, uphold justice and equity at all levels. Okay, but unfortunately in Nigeria, the judgment from Nigerian judiciary is a case of the highest bidder gets the judgment. The highest bidder wins every case in Nigeria. So meaning that it is priced. Judgment is priced in Nigeria. So the highest bidder pays higher and then dictates what the outcome of the judgment is. And that goes to affirm the fact that if there's a legal issue with a common man in Nigeria, in no distant time, the judgment is released and the common man is prosecuted. But if it involves a very big man, nothing happens. Like what happened in the case of Akpabio senatorial judgment and the former Senate President Ahmad Lawan senatorial judgment as well. All of this, you will see if it's a big man, the case immediately will be concluded. But if it's a small man, nothing happens. Okay, I think the same thing happens with this young girl that had SSC result forged in not SSC JAMB forged in Anambra State. Okay, before you know it, Soludo has swung into action. They have concluded it. Meanwhile, Tinubu has a certificate issue on his neck, and up till now, nothing is done. It's still being handled. So Levi Uzoku has proven that presidential election has been cancelled before in Malawi, even though it was not in Nigeria, but it's in Africa, and it can happen again. But again, are the judiciary ready to do the needful? Right now, the APC, the INEC, and Tinubu's team are looking for a way to influence the outcome of that judgment, and that is why Nigerians are suspecting that the unnecessary delay of the judgment is probably giving the APC and the people opportunity to interfere with the judgment. Let's see how the outcome will be, but Levi Zoku has shared a very crucial information that it has happened before and it can happen again, even in Africa. Let's see, some people have made their comments here, and I know that some people that belong to Tinubu APC camp will say otherwise. Someone said there is substantial evidence to annul 2023 presidential election, but who are judges and who is INEC? Okay, masses may be forced to troop out in our streets, hence no one can save our situation. No wonder INEC and politicians usually say go to court after rigging. Yes, they will tell you go to court after rigging because they know that they own the court, hoping courts will play games as usual. Which evidence? Okay, the one presented in court or the one imagined? Can you imagine? This is another person now that is supporting APC. Somebody said the one your papa has. Bingo. Can you imagine? They have replied him. Okay. Somebody said, let's start preparing for the great revolution. We need to come out in mass. If we are determined, even DSS and army will run for their lives. Nigerians will wake up. These APC people are thieves. They will run the country dry. They're already running the country dry, I tell you. Invite all your family members to lead us. Can you imagine? Somebody is trying to bash him now. But what he has said is the truth. Now only mouth them get busy chasing shadows. Who told you that chasing shadows? They're telling you the truth and what has happened. And you had an opportunity to present your case, if any, in court, but performed abysmally poorly, wasting everyone's time on irrelevancies. Can you imagine? You spent most of the time looking for how to obtain disqualification of the winner, despite the claim of your principal that he had evidence to support that he won. He should go into the archive and see the performance of late G.O.K. Ajayi in Jackson's versus Omoboriowo case. Can you imagine? So what is happening now is that people are still supporting this APC wall. Even as life is getting tough with people, you'll be surprised that even these people supporting APC are even barely living from hand to mouth. But because of their psychopathy, they will continue to say things and support evil in Nigeria. Some people say, don't mind the Igbos, they can never win a national election in Nigeria. They think it is by lies, propaganda, and false. Can you imagine? Now, wow. When I see some people talk like this, it pains me because Nigeria is finished. That's what it means. Nigeria, if you cannot get justice, then Nigeria is finished. Some say, why would you see the sense in a reconciliatory overtures? So far, the status quo favors and fans your tribal bigotry. The thugs in the street have similar psyche. Okay, only you decided to be blind and deaf. Quite unfortunate. Quite unfortunate. If Obi could win Abuja and Lagos State, which is the stronghold of Tinubu, where is most popular? There is no doubt, according to records from the INEC server, that Tinubu came a distant third, not surprising because Tinubu didn't promise the Nigerians anything. In fact, in some states, he said he came to dance. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu just manipulated the result for Tinubu. We can't continue like this. No, there's a revolution in Africa against corruption and democratic coups. It will happen. Old politicians of 80s have refused to leave the stage honorably, and that is why Nigeria will continue to suffer. Mali is not Nigeria, and Nigeria is not Mali. The two countries have different constitutions and different acts guided. Can you imagine? So people are still supporting all these evils happening in Nigeria. That is the way we see it. But all the same, let's see how it goes and know that one day judgment will come. Thank you for listening. Let's have a comment.